there is some good news to talk about. So we are in the midst of a mass exodus, of which we're about to talk about. However, one member of the roster whom you and I both really love and both really appreciate, and we've been disappointed in his push a little bit lately and figured that he actually might want to get out of his contract. It turns out that is not the case because Chris Bey has signed a multi-year deal with Impact. Signed just today. Sports Illustrated broke the story. Chris Bey is also going to be working with New Japan going forward. He says he wants to go to Wrestle Kingdom and that he expects to be working with Josh Alexander, Speedball Bailey, and all the legends of Impact.
Legends is a tough term. I'm very happy. One thing that he said recently that really impressed me was that because this is what we do on Twitter is we bitch about wrestling. We bitch when our favorites don't get pushed. That's what wrestling fans do.
Yeah.
I was impressed that he said, "You know what? It's my fault. I didn't work hard enough this year." And I was like,
Yep.
"Oh, that's refreshing, right?
Yeah.
That's refreshing to see a talent, take ownership of their own shortcomings and say, I have to be better, right?" And we don't see that enough. It's usually everyone's screwed me, everyone's against me, blah blah blah. So it's nice to see that, and I'm glad that they're rewarding him. And I hope things are better in 2021 because he's a hell of a talent who was underutilized a little bit this year, be it by booking or his own machinations. But I'm happy he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm happy he's not going anywhere, and I hope that this is a sign that we're going to start seeing because Ace Austin also re-signed earlier this year. They are the core, they're the nucleus. I know AEW has their pillars of, Jungle Boy and Orange Cassidy and God, the kid was Darby Allin and MJF. I think that Ace Austin and Chris Bey are a part of that for Impact, right? They're part of that young core that if they can kind of cultivate those guys and keep them around for a long time, they're going to be part of the identity going forward. And so I'm really glad to see that they're here. And I hope that this also means that Chris Bey and Ace Austin are going to get a tag title run eventually because I think that they've earned it, and I like them as a tag team.
I agree. I don't believe in the term of earning things in professional wrestling because, someone chooses, right? Someone just makes an arbitrary decision. So nothing is really. I don't believe anything is earned. I think you get opportunities, and what you do with your opportunities is a little bit different. The big mistake of the past version of this company of TNA was you had a great core of young guys, and you really didn't ever elevate them, right?
Yeah.
Like even AJ and Joe were always they would come up and then they would bring them back down. Right. Mm-hmm. And then you'd have guys like Bobby Roode and, James Storm, who even when they came up, come down, it was never really, we're all in on this is our guy. And that's one thing I'll say is Impact has gone all in on Josh as our guy, which is refreshing to see. It really is.
Yeah.
Now we need 5 more. And you can be wrong. You can be wrong on a guy. You're better off being wrong trying to. And Vince McMahon has a long history of this, pushing a guy, and you're wrong. And okay, we'll push another guy. Rather than just going like, well, this guy was famous 10 years ago somewhere else. We'll give him a shot. I hope this leads to more. We need more Chris Bays and more Ace Austins in this company. Less Bully and Tommies.
Bully and Tommies and. Nothing against Frankie, but less Frankie, less AEW guys coming in and pushing down the guys that are here all the time. Yeah. Like I like the other guys coming in, but like Aussie Open is a perfect example. I love the fact that they were able to bring Aussie Open in. I hope they get to bring those guys back. They shouldn't have beat Bay and Austin in their first match and then go and lose to the Motor City Machine Guns. Like Ace Austin and Chris Bey, they're the destination team. They're not the stepping stone team, in my opinion. Like those aren't guys that you just beat on your way up. Those are guys you get elevated to. Like they could have beat Zicky and Swinger, or they could have beat a local team. You know what I mean? Like Mid-South. They could have beat what's his name? Jerry Gray and Action Mike Jackson. They could have beat those guys. You know what I mean? Instead, they beat Austin and Bay, and that was a disappointment. And then they were left off the Bound for Glory card. They were actually on the pre-show for the digital media match of the week or whatever that was released on Tuesday. And so I was just disappointed in that. I actually advocated that they get released from the company because I was so mad. I was so mad about what happens next week with Bully and Tommy Dreamer, the fact that they're in a program with those guys.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. So, the whole thing was just disappointing. But look, apparently Chris Bey is not that upset about it because he's a guy that would have offers. Like I think he's a guy that AEW would bring in. He's a guy that got looks from WWE.
Yeah, I would with he's improved greatly over the last 2 years. Like, I know he might not be happy with himself this year, but over the last couple of years, he's gotten better. So
Yeah.
there's no reason in my mind. And those NXT kids need veterans to work with to get better. So Chris Bey is valuable. I hope he's gotten a good paycheck from Impact. I really do. Hope he's not regretting it in a couple of years.